What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Board Games Are For Everybody, where today we're going to be playing Rolling Heights, which is AEG's newest game. Came out last week, as of the making of this video, anyway. And we're just going to more or less hop into this. There's quite a few rules to go over for the solo mode, but we'll kind of do those as we go along. Object of the game is to score as many points as we can on the round track here before one of these resources runs out. With the exception of these orange ones at the back here, those are meant to be wild resources for more or less the last turn where one of these run out so that you can still continue building stuff on that last turn. We are playing the solo mode, which means we're playing against an AI opponent, which is really us. So more or less, we're just playing a two-player version of the game, but with specific rules for the computer player. So we're just going to hop into this in a sec here. There's a couple things I do actually have to go over because we haven't fully set up the game yet. First things first, we need to select one of these level 1 buildings here and put it somewhere on the board that doesn't contain any of these additional resource cubes on them. Now, as we're going along, you'll see that all of these buildings have different resources needed on them in certain amounts. And at the start of the game, we start with 2 meeples that give us purple resources and 2 meeples that give us brown resources. So the first ones we're going to want to go with are more likely than not going to be lower purples or browns. And on the bottom of each of the cards, you can see, actually I'm going to take this one, so we'll just use this as an example. As you can see, there is a victory point that you gain depending on what building you complete. Some of them are 3, some of them are 9, some of them are 1. Also, next to that, you'll also gain whatever meeple is on the bottom here, which all of the meeples are separated in this bin over here. And as we progress through the game, we are going to acquire more meeples for our supply, which will give us more resources. Now, we are going to go with this one because it only costs 3 wood for us to completely make, which isn't too bad from the get-go. On the right-hand side here, you can see it is considered a house tile. So if we can place it on one of these tiles that have a house icon on them, we could possibly get some extra points here. But we also need to be careful because we don't want to block ourselves in. This map is actually quite put together, which is fine. There are a couple islands, but not too many. And we'll kind of go into that a little later on. Being close to some of these would be nice because they do give quite a lot of resources. Not resources, quite a lot of victory points is what I meant to say, if you happen to build on them. However, those cubes that are there, it means you have to spend an extra resource in order to place one of your pieces on that space. And of course, you also have to pay in order to buy resources, or in order to buy building tiles. So you'd be spending even more resources in order to place them on the map. But for the time being, I think we're just going to go with, I kind of want to be somewhat close. This one off on the island will give us 7 points if we build on it later, but we also have to cross the water, which is something we'll get into once we get there. So I think we're just going to stay fairly central for the time being, and we're just going to place it right here. And because over here, I don't know if I can zoom in on that or not. Well, I can zoom in on one of these ones just to show the example. Right down here, you can kind of see it. We have the house, the forest. In this one in particular, it's a commercial building. but different tiles award different victory points dependent on if... Just trying to find my... Sorry, trying to get back to my ×1 here. That's good enough. Some spaces give you victory points if you build a particular kind of building type on it. And we're just going to build right here, which is going to give us 1 additional victory point at the beginning of the game here before we even start. Everything all there has been redone already, and I think we're just going to hop right into this. So this black cube here is going to represent what turn we're on. I am playing as the green player. The AI opponent is going to be playing as the yellow player. Once this round marker hits round number 6, the AI player will start getting to roll 2 times during their turn. And once it hits round 12, they'll begin rolling 3 times per turn. So it's going to get quite hectic as we go along. But let's just hop right into this. Explaining things is going to be easier as we go along here. So first thing we got to do is we need to roll our meeples to see what resources we get. Now, unfortunately, all of our meeples are currently resting. You have to keep rolling until at least half of your meeples are either on their sides as such or standing up on their feet. And depending on how they are, you're going to get different resources. So let's just keep trying here. So we got 1 wood on its side here, or well, wood, 1 brown, 1 on its side here. But we still have 3 meeples that are on their sides, on their flat sides. So we have to continue rolling. Again, got to continue rolling. There we go. Okay, so we have another one that is now half on its side, not its flat side, but on its side. If we chose to, we could push to try and roll these additional meeple again. However, if any of them land flat like they are here, we will lose half of the meeples that we currently have in our resource supply. So it's a little early in the game. I don't know if I really want to risk that right now because we only have 4 meeples. So I don't think that's going to be a great idea. So I don't think we're going to push this round. So we're just going to put this off to the side for the time being. And we're going to go with our 2 meeples here. Now, if we look over at the carpenter here, you'll see that if we have our meeple on its side, we gain 1 brown cube. And seeing as we have 2 meeples on their side, we're going to gain 2 brown cubes that we are now going to be able to use to either purchase more buildings or to try and build up what we have. Now, we are going to start wanting to get some glass. We are early in the game still, but I think we're just going to use our turn to place these 2 onto the building that we have here. And that's going to be our turn, seeing as those are the only resources that we have. Before we continue on to the opponent's turn, I'm going to flip up all of our universal goals, which I did not do before we started. They're just down here. So our first universal goal that we got, lose 1 victory point per adjacent house, forest, or commercial building to a factory. That will be at the end of the game. So we're going to have to watch out for putting factories beside stuff. Score 4 points per neighborhood where you have the tallest completed building. Neighborhoods are the 6 different sections of the board here, which in a solo mode are indicated by the 1 through 6 tiles, which are really nice. And our last one is 5 victory points per completed set of forest, house, factory, and commercial building. That's not too bad. Per completed set. So like say we built 2 forests, 2 houses, 2 factories, and 2 commercial buildings. That's 10 points right there. That's nothing to scoff at. That's not too shabby. And then we have to look at our personal goals. We didn't do that either. We start the game with 2 personal goals. And at the end of the game, we're going to get to choose which one we want to score points for. So one that we have, 2 victory points, completed house, 2 victory points per adjacent commercial building. Your completed houses score 2 victory points per adjacent commercial building. Or we'll get 2 victory points per magenta meeple that we have, and 2 victory points per green meeple that we have. So that could be pretty interesting depending on what route we go. Every time I've played this game, I actually haven't used any green meeples. I have used magenta ones, but I haven't used any green ones yet. So that'll be interesting. But let's head into the AI controlled player's turn, now that we have gotten all of our goals out of the way. And the first thing we need to do for them is we need to roll a dice. That dice is a 2. So they're going to be building in neighborhood 2, which is in the center top of the board, which is where we placed our tile. And because they don't already have a building in that section, they are going to take a level 1 building based on their dice roll. A 1 or 2 would be the first tile in line. A 3 or 4 would be the second tile in line, or a 5 and 6 would be the third tile in line. Because they got a 2, they're going to be taking the Worcester heights, and as far as placement goes, they place it down in the middlemost section of the neighborhood area, which in this case would be right here over this water, but because they can't place it on water, they would place it on an adjacent space, which we get to choose. Now, regardless of how this works out, they're going to get 2 points either way, because they do score the points from the housing bonus, the space bonus, like I was showing on the side there. So I think we might put it off to the right there, just so we can try and keep some of our stuff connected, because we have to place buildings connected to our buildings. We aren't allowed to build something not connected to one of our buildings. I think the only exception to that is if we cross over water. That's something I'm going to have to look into. For this game, we're going to play it that I'm not allowed to break off from my buildings, because I'm pretty sure in the rules it says you have to stay connected to your buildings. So that, but then how would you end up on islands? I guess you would have to do it with the pink pieces. We'll get to that later on. Anyways, they can't be in the water. So we're going to place them off to the right here instead. And because they're putting the tile down, they automatically gain 3 resources of a type that they need for that building, which happens to be 3 wood, since they need 10 total wood for that building. So we're just going to put 3 there. And they will need to complete that building should they roll the number 2 again. But we'll get to that once we get to that. That is going to complete the yellow player's turn, the computer player's turn. They gained 2 victory points from placing the building there. And we now need to shift all this stuff down. And we are going to head into round number 2. So let's move this black cube to round number 2 here. We are now on round number 2. Let's get this dice out of here, and we now get to roll our meeples once again and see what we got. So we've got 1 wood and 1 steel? I think blue's steel. I don't remember what purple's supposed to be. Stone, maybe? I don't remember. Anyways, we've got 1 and 1. Again, I don't really think that I want to push this early. I just don't think it's a good idea. So we gain 1 purple and 1 brown cube thanks to our sideways meeples here. And we are going to start by placing our brown meeple on the last 1 space on this building tile right here. So since our building is completed, we place our green tile on top of one of our other buildings. We score 1 victory point thanks to our completion of the building. And we also gain 1 of these clear meeples that are now going to be added to our supply for future rolls. So we're going to be able to start building on those glass tiles. So that'll be nice. Now the question is, what do I want to do with this purple cube? I don't have anything else I can put it on. So I could buy another resource. Or not another resource. I could buy another building tile. Is the correct term there. On the right and left hand sides here, you'll see that there are a different amount of cubes as you go up the board. Those cubes represent your resources. You need to spend that many resource cubes in order to purchase that particular building. If you buy any building from the 3rd row up on either side, the bottom 2 rows suddenly get these wild tokens on them, which can be used as any resource type, or they score 1 victory point at the end of the game, and you would get those by then buying those bottom tiles. Now, the question is, which one do we want to buy? We do have a glass now, so we could go for this bottom one here, which would give us a gold meeple when we complete it. And that would allow us to potentially gain more victory points every turn. You gain 1 point if they're on their side and 2 points if they land on their feet. We could also go for the second one, which would give us a steel meeple after completing it. But we also lose points for having factories adjacent to houses, which we want to watch out for. We could also go for this third one here, which would also give us a steel and 3 points, so long as we get 5 wood onto it. 5 wood could be tricky. Would take a couple turns unless we get 2 wood meeples to stand up and we have enough resources to trade them for other resources. It can get tricky when you're trying to figure out what to buy, but I think so that we aren't slowing things down here, we're just gonna spend a resource to buy this commercial building here, the Truss Diner. And we need to place that adjacent to one of our things here. Now, what way do I want to go? I could come down this way and build down here. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything for being beside this anyway. So, like those, well, I can't placing those ones up there anyway, I guess. I'd have to spend a resource to do it. So we're going to place right here. And that's going to be the end of our turn since we don't have any more resources to spend. This cube goes back into the supply for the next round. So we are now on to our AI opponent's turn. They got a 6. So they don't have, well, once I refresh this anyway, they don't have anything in neighborhood 6, so they are going to be taking a level 1 tile, and seeing as it was a 6, they're going to be taking the 3rd tile up from the row, which means that both tiles 1 and 2 are going to have a wild placed beside them. So if I choose to purchase those, let's see if I can back up here a bit. If I choose to purchase those, then there we go. That's a bit better. If I choose to purchase those, then we will get the wild token with them. Now, they are going in the middle, which they can't do. And they ignore resource costs. So I think, it says I get to choose how it moves. But I think the way the game would properly be played would be for them to score as many points as possible, right? That would make sense. If I were to choose, I would put it here so that they don't score any points at all. But I would think that, whatever it is I'm trying to say, I would think that an AI opponent would put it over there if they were allowed to ignore resource costs, which they are. But the rules say I get to choose, so I guess we're going to keep it on the left. We're going to try and not give them 7 points on turn number 2. I think that would turn out poorly for us. And since this is their first building, they're going to gain 3 wood to place onto this space here. Let's get one of their yellow huts here. And that is their turn. So we are now moving on to turn number 3. And they surprisingly didn't gain any points because we chose not to give them points. The last thing I want to do is give my AI opponent a bunch of points. So we now have 5 meeples to roll. That's nice. And we only got 1. So we get to re-roll our other 4 here until we have at least half. So we've got another wood and another wood. So that is more than half of our meeples. Do I want to... I could have used glass opposed to this. That would have been nice, but that didn't happen, so that's okay, I guess. I guess that's okay. We won't push our luck with this one. I don't think it would go well for us. So we're just going to gain 2 wood and 1 purple. They're a construction worker. I guess it's like concrete or something. And we are now going to choose how we want to spend our resources. We're obviously going to put our purple onto this one here. Now, do we want to buy something? You're only allowed to buy once per turn. That does not include if you have a city planner. That's a different thing, which we'll get to if I get a city planner at all. So I think I might just trade these 2. I think I might just trade these 2 wood in for a glass or another steel. Probably a glass because we only have 1 glass guy. Yeah, I think we're just going to trade in. You're allowed to trade 2 of any resource for a wood, a purple, or a glass. And you can trade 3 of any resource for a steel. So we're going to trade in our 2 woods there for a glass. And we're just going to place that glass over onto the back section of this one here. And that is going to end our turn. We haven't had a whole lot of action yet. Going on to the computer player. Another 6. So the way that this works, if they roll for a neighborhood that they have an incomplete building on, they automatically gain 12 of necessary resources for an incomplete building. Now, in this case, there is only 3 that they need, so they're just going to be gaining 3 wood. 1 will go here, 1 will go here, and 1 will go here. And that is going to complete the building, which is going to gain them 1 victory point. They gain 1 victory point for every building that they complete. Should they roll neighborhood 6 again, because they now have a complete building in that neighborhood, they're going to gain a level 2. They're going to gain a level 2 building tile. to attach to their neighborhood. So that is going to end the yellow player's turn. That's the only action that they get, is just building and taking stuff. So it is now back to us. We are heading into turn number 4. We are getting close to them getting 2 rules per turn. So we need to kind of pick up the pace here and try and... That's a bit of a better roll. Okay, so we've got a standing up purple, an on the side purple, and an on the side brown. I don't really want to push these guys. I don't think that's going to work out well for me. So we're going to gain 1 brown block and 3 purple blocks, because we get 1 for our breakdancing meeple there, our meeple on the side, and we're going to gain 2 for our one that's standing up. So that gives us 4 resources to play with. We're going to put 1 here, which makes most sense. We are going to spend these other 2 in order to get a glass, which is going to complete this building here. On the bottom of this building, it says that we gain a gold meeple, which is now going to be added to our supply. And we gain 1 point for each adjacent house to this building, which at this time, at this time is only 1 point. So we're going to gain 1 point thanks to our adjacent house. Now we still have this 1 wood left that I think we're going to use to buy either way. It's 3 in steel. I could also go for the one that's all steel. It would give us another glass, which would be helpful. 2 points, and we need 4 in order to make that happen. I think we're going to go with that, honestly. I think we're going to go with that. So another wild is going to be placed on both of these lower ones. We're going to be taking the Benzie Plastic Co. Oh, this was what I was trying to avoid though, right? Because I get negative points if this is beside something. I lied. We're going to hold off on that. We're not going to take that one. That was a terrible choice on my part. These are both 3, and I gain a wild, 5, 4. I guess we're going to go with this bottom one here. So we're going to gain this wild tile. If we keep this until the end of the game, it's worth 1 victory point. Oh, but this is also a factory. I'm trying to avoid... I'm just not looking at the things enough. I'm trying to avoid factories, damn it. I guess we're going with the middle one. We're going with this house, which we will put down here. Start making our way down. We still gain this resource. Like I was saying, it is 1 victory point at the end of the turn. At the end of the game. It's worth 1 victory point at the end of the game if we get to the end of the game with it. We can also use it to replicate any resource that we want. So I could currently use it if I wanted to for a wood for the Derby lofts that we just put down, but that is kind of pointless. There's no reason for us to really do that. So that is going to be the end of our turn, and we're just going to head right into the AI's turn. He rolled a 5. They do not have anything in the 5 yet. A 5 correlates with space number 3 on the track. Now this is going to add a wild to each of these. So the 5 goes into the middle. I don't feel like giving them the points, but they're not going to have it anyway. But I also don't want it to be beside my tile, because they are going to end up making me lose a point for having a factory beside it. So we're going to shift it off to the left here. It requires only 3 purples, which is exactly what they get for placing it. So it is going to complete this building. Those are my pieces. We need to go with the yellow pieces. So they're going to gain another point from completing that building. And that's going to be the end of their turn for now. We are now moving on to round number 5. We've now got 6 things here, which is pretty good. That's not terrible. We got one person standing up, one person on their side, and one person, another one on their side here. That's not too bad. Now that is 3 of our 6, which is half. So we only need, well, we could try and push these other 3, but I think that would be a bad idea. But it is only 3. We haven't done any pushing yet, so it could be worse. It could be worse. We'll try and push. We'll push our luck here, see if we can get some more resources. And we did. We got an extra glass, which isn't terrible. So we're not going to push again. I don't want to lose half of my resources for this turn. So we've got 3 purple, 1 clear, and we just gain 1 victory point for this one being on its side. Where are my victory points? 1 victory point for being on the side. So what do we want to do with the resources that we have accumulated here? That's a great question. We don't really have anything we can use for the Derby Lofts there. We need all wood for that, so we could just buy some stuff, I suppose. We could use 1 to purchase something, and then we could build some stuff, right? Except it's all factories in the 1 spots right now, and the next one's a 3. We could buy a level 2. That may not be too bad. We could buy a level 2. It would be a commercial building. We might want to do that when we get a little farther down, though. Because we could get, well, we can get 4 points for putting a house there, too, though. So maybe we'll do that. We'll throw 2 onto this space for this, the Tiger Lounge commercial building. And we're going to just build that off to the side here. And then we're going to use our last 2 resources here. We're going to place 1 on the purple, 1 on the glass. And that is all we are going to do for this turn. It's going to take it to our AI opponents. And they've rolled a 5. So since they already have a building complete in the 5 area, they're going to get a level 2. They're going to get a level 2 building here. So just let me replace this one up here. And they rolled a 5, so they're going to get the 3rd one here, which means we're going to get a wild token on these bottom 2. And they are going to be placing, it has to be adjacent to one of their already existing tiles. And I think we're going to place it down here. Now they are going to gain 3 glass to put on that. So they're only 1. Oh, I'm just dropping pieces all over the place. Good job. And of course it's the clear ones too. So that makes it harder to see. Give me a sec here. I got to pick those up. There's 1. There's 2. Okay. Okay, let's place these glasses down. So we've got 2 and 1. I know it's a little late, but I apologize for the microwave that went off in the background. As I said in like one of my first videos, I do not live alone. I can't control what other people do, but that's okay. It's just a little microwave, no harm. And that's going to be the end of the opponent's turn since they only get the 1 roll. However, we are now on round 6, which means our AI opponent's going to start getting two rolls per turn, which is not great for us. That's not great for us. Let's see what we got here. We got another free victory point, which is nice. Do we try and push these 3? I think we have to. We need resources. Oh, and we failed, unfortunately. That was on its side. So unfortunately, that roll, since we tried to push our luck and we failed, none of them landed on their feet or on the side. We lose half of our resources rounded down. So we lose one of our resources. Now, I don't really have anything right now that could even complete anything anyway. We have a wood and we have, I guess I have to keep the purple because I could place it onto the Tiger Lounge there. I could also place the wood though. We have that as well. I'm wondering if I should forego the victory point in order to try and get more resources down. I think that's what we're going to have to do. So we're still going to be left with one purple and one brown, which I think all we can really do here is just place our resources onto our things here. Is there anything I can buy? Not really. There's still all factories, and I don't want factories. And then I guess we'll put our wood here, and that's just going to be our turn. So unfortunately, we scored no points this turn, and our AI opponent is going to be doing 2 rolls this turn. We've got a 2, which is going to allow them to complete this building up here. Currently a 3. And because, like we said before, they already have a building on neighborhood 2, they're going to gain 12 resources of what they need, which in this case, they only need 7 resources. But luckily for us, it's only 1 victory point. They don't gain the points at the bottom of the card. I think that would be pretty nuts. And they are going to gain 1 victory point. And they now get another roll. A 5, which is down here, which they're just going to gain the 1 glass in order to complete this one down here. And that's going to give them another victory point. And that is the end of the AI's 6th turn, which brings us to our 7th turn. This is not going well for us. This has not been a good game for us so far. We've where'd my guys go? I didn't put them back in my bin. We need to get some more resources out here. That was a bad roll. We only have one half guy. I'm gonna roll the rest here. Glass, we're still under half. We need 1 more. And it is just giving us 1 more. Dang. Well, do we push? Glass. It's 1, 2. We could push and forego the wood. Regardless, we're still going to be able to complete the Tiger Lounge this turn because we have a glass and we have a purple, which is all we need to complete it. So I think we're just going to try and push, and if we fail, we're just going to get rid of the wood. And we didn't fail. We just gained more resources. We didn't get a victory point from our yellow, but that's okay. So we're going to gain 2 wood, 2 concrete or whatever it is, the purple ones, and we're going to gain a glass. We are going to, firstly, which one's it on? It's on the middle one. We're going to place a purple and our glass here to complete this building. That's going to give us 3 victory points as well as a magenta meeple for our supply. And we get 1, 2, 3. What else can we do here? We've still got a purple and these 2 browns. I could try and buy some stuff, maybe. I could buy some stuff. Another gold, another glass would be nice. I think we're going to spend 2 up here. So that's going to put a wild on these bottom 2. And we're going to purchase the RH glass ink. I guess it makes sense that it gives us a glass meeple if we complete it then. These go back into the supply. Now, I know this is a factory, which means we're going to lose a point at the end of the turn, which is unfortunate. But we can try and mitigate that a bit. We're going to place it over here so that we can expand up this way if we need to. And we're just going to place our last purple cube onto the corner there. So we now just need 2 in order to complete that building. That's going to bring us back to our AI. A 3. They do not have anything in neighborhood 3 yet, which means they're going to be gaining this factory here. And they're going to be gaining these 2 victory points, which they are going to score at the end of the game. I'll keep that up with their tiles there. And it's going to go smack dab in the center here. They are going to gain 3 purple cubes to put onto it. So they are still 1 away from completing that building. So the AI now has 2 additional points, basically, for the end of the game. They don't use their wilds as resources, so it's just extra points. And they're going to gain a second roll, which is a 2. Now they have completed their building in 2, which means they are going to be taking a level 2 building, which is this factory here. Oh no, sorry, they rolled a 2. It's the first one, which is still a factory, and they're gaining another resource that is now an extra 3 points at the end of the game. This has to be attached to their neighborhood 2, which means I don't think they're allowed to branch over into neighborhood 3, but I could be wrong about that because it would still be attached to their thing. But basically, it has to go right here for the time being, and they're going to get 3 purples to put on that. Nope. Actually, you know what? We'll do the 2 and the 1 so that the 3 is visible at the front for us. Okay, that was the second roll. So that's bringing us on to turn number 8 now. And they haven't gained any new points, which is good for us. We're still ahead. They didn't gain any points that turn. They just placed some more buildings out. So that's okay. That is okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meeples. If we ever get to 10 meeples, or more than 10 meeples, I should say, then we're going to have to start changing out. We're going to have to start changing out what meeples we are using, because we're only allowed to roll 10 meeples per turn. This was a really good turn. It's about time, because we haven't been getting many. So we have 1 glass. We have 3 purples, which is nice. We have 4 woods, also nice. And then the magenta one we can now talk about. The magenta meeple is an executive meeple. It gives us spending power, which we can use to purchase properties without having to spend resources. So it being on its side gives us a spending power of 2. So we can take anything at a 2 space. These are backwards. I just realized this is backwards. That's not good. I was going to say, why is that one worth 3? That's not right. There we go. Okay, fixed. It's all good. It's all good. So we have a spending power of 2. So we could buy this commercial, or we could buy this other... We could buy quite a few of these. I actually wouldn't mind getting a pink meeple. So we might use this spending power of 2 to spend 2 on this one right here. So we're going to take this factory building. I know it's another factory building, which unfortunately just got blocked off from our thing, which means that we have to place it adjacent to something else. But this is going to gain us a pink meeple, which is going to be useful for us. It's going to allow us to either re-roll our exhausted meeples, which could give us more benefits, without having to push them, which is good. Or we are going to be able to take any tile that we want and place it anywhere that we want, which is also beneficial. So we're going to be losing a point for this, unfortunately, but hopefully in the long run, it will help us out with that other meeple. Now, that goes there. You need to put a wild onto these two bottom ones since we bought one outside of the top. What am I doing? I was shifting. And then I am placing resources. We're basically just going to complete this right now. So we're going to put one. We're going to put our glass at the back here. And then we got another 2 in the front, which is going to complete it. And that's going to give us 3 victory points. And we're going to gain that pink meeple for our supply. We're going to go for the pink instead of the blue. We could have chosen either. I think that pink is more beneficial for us right now. And we just so happen to have just enough to finish this one off anyway, which is going to give us a blue meeple anyway. So we're still going to gain a blue meeple this turn. And that is going to complete that one, which gives us another 3 victory points. And we gain a blue meeple for our supply. So we are now at 9, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're going to be pretty close to having to choose which meeple we want to roll every turn. But that is going to take us over to the AI opponent, who has rolled a 5. Now he already has 2 complete 5 buildings, so he's going to get this toy center level 2 here. So we're putting a wild onto these first 2 down here, and it's going to end up down here, and they're going to gain 3 glass for that building. And we'll plop that over there. And they get 1 more roll. Second roll is a 1. They don't have anything in the 1 yet, so they just gained an extra 4 victory points. That's pretty rough. And they're going to be placing this right in the middle of 1, which is right here. They're going to gain 2 glass and a concrete. And put their little yellow token on here. No point gain yet, which is good. And that was roll number 2. So we are now heading into round number 9. We still got a few more rounds here before they start rolling 3 times. So we still have a little bit of time to make things happen here. We are pulling ahead, but I think they currently have 7 additional points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They currently have 7 additional points, which is bad for us. It means that we need to be ahead by more than 7, because it's likely that they're going to get some of the communal goals here. We do still have a resource tile here, which is nice, but let's just get into our turn and roll our meeples here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is a bit of a rough. That's a bit of a rough roll. I'm going to try and push these 4. We have good chances with 4. Oh yeah, at least we got 1. I'm not going to try and push the other ones. I think that would be a bad idea. So we gain 2 wood, 2 concrete, 1 glass, and then we have our spending power. So we have our spending power of 2 since we're on the side. Do we want to do that? Do we have anything we can purchase that we can just flat out build is the question. I need 2 steel for that, which I don't have. This one would give us 9 victory points, and we do have a blue. Do we have anything else around here that can give us a blue? That one can. We're going to go for our spending power here, so we're going to end up with wilds down on the bottom here. We are kind of pushing our luck with those wilds. We're giving the AI a chance to get more of them, which is never good for us. But we're going to go with this one here. Do I have 4 I can spend? I could. It would gain me 6 points, or I could just spend the 2. But then this is going to be a wasted one anyway. So we're going to spend 4 cubes in order to place it in this space down here. And because it's, well, we're going to lose a point for that though, aren't we? It's still worth more though. We could place it in the one next to it for 2. But we'd only be gaining 4 points. We are losing a point for that factory being beside it. So we're only going to gain 5 points from it. But that's still more than 4. But more resources gone. So hold on. But that's just going to be a wasted resource anyway. So should I go for the 6 points knowing I'm going to lose a point? I guess that's the question. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to spend 4. We're going to place it right here. So we're going to gain 6 points from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're just going to place our last wood down on the bottom here. And that's what we got. That is our turn. 6 points for a turn isn't bad. Can't really complain about that. A 3, which is going to allow them to complete the building back here. Is it just another 1? Luckily, they're only taking 1 resource for it. And they're going to gain 1 point. And their second roll is a 6. They do have this completed one in here. So they're going to be taking this one up here, which means these are both going to gain a thing. Oh, I have them replaced up here, apparently. And this has to go beside theirs, so I guess we'll just put it down here for now. And they're going to gain 3 glass for that. And that's going to bring it back to us. Okay, moving on to turn number 10. In 2 more turns, they're going to start rolling 3 dice per turn, which isn't good for us. Okay, we've got a reroll, which is nice, without having to exhaust. However, we only have 4 guys up, so we still get to reroll first anyway. Ooh, nice, standing. That's 2 free points. 2 glass is nice. Okay, so we're going to start by using our sideways pink meeple to re-roll all of our resting meeples without penalty. And it gave us an extra wood. Well, that's fine. So we gain 2 wood, 1 concrete, 2 glass for having a standing clear meeple, 1 steel, and then just 2 victory points. Thanks to our gold meeple. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. This wood, I guess we're going to place onto here so that we can work on completing that and place a thing on it. I don't really have anything for these unless I buy something. What am I looking at for buying? I need 2, eh? Okay, we're going to spend 2 to purchase this one here, which is going to give us these 3 wilds, so that's not bad. If we can hold on to those, that would be good. And we're going to hold off on putting anything on this yet. We're actually going to spend these 2 to place it right here. And since it's a commercial building, that's going to gain us another 4 points. 2, 3, 4. So we are now at 25 points. I want to try and pull ahead while we can here. And that's going to be the end of our turn. So 1 roll is a 5. And they are still trying to complete stuff on 5. They're going to gain the 7 tiles they need, which are 4 steel. And 3 glass. Four steel. 3 glass. And that's going to complete that building for them and give them 1 point. They now get their second roll, which is a 6. And that is going to allow them to complete that building as well, with 3 glass and 2 glass. So that's going to be another point for them. 3 glass and 2 glass. Okay, that is the end of their turn. We are now moving on to round number 11. I'll fix up this building here. There we go. Okay, let's see what we get. So we're going to start by using our sideways pink, our city planner, in order to re-roll our resting meeple here. And all that did was gain us a glass, but that's okay. We're not going to push the other 2. So we're going to gain 1 point for our gold. We're going to gain 3 purple cubes. We're going to gain 1 brown cube. We're going to gain 1 glass cube. And we have a buying power of 2 for this turn. Now, there aren't too many resources on there. However, if we bought that factory, we could complete it. And we can put it next to another factory. That wouldn't be an issue. We could expand up into neighborhood 1. We could also expand out into neighborhood 3 and try and get over there a bit. That could work for us if we were to buy that factory. We could also buy, if we were to buy this one here, the Masuris Park, it only costs 1 wood to complete, and we would gain 2 points. Oh, gain 3 points per adjacent house. We could gain 6 points for putting it right here, which would be pretty crazy. So I think we're going to use our buying power to buy this one here, which is going to give us this wild and or victory point, which is nice. And just so you can see it there, so you don't think I'm cheating, gain 3 per adjacent house when completed. It's a forest tile, so we're going to place that right here beside our 2 houses, because that's the smartest way to do it. We're going to place our wood resource onto it, which is going to complete it, which is going to give us 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still got a little bit left here. What do I still need to build? I still need 2 more wood to complete that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to exchange a glass and a concrete for a wood, which we're going to place on here. And then we're going to exchange our last 2 concretes for another wood, which we're going to place on here, which is going to complete this building. It's going to give us a blue meeple as well as 3 victory points, putting us at 35. And that's going to be the end of our turn. Did I move the dice forward? I don't know if I'm, oh geez, I don't know if I moved the dice forward. We're just going to say I moved it forward. I think last turn was their last turn for 2 rolls. I don't remember if so all I'm doing is making this harder on myself if I'm getting this wrong. So our AI opponent's now going to get 3 rolls per turn, starting with a 3, which they already have a completed building. So they're coming into the second row here since they got a 3. And they're probably going to place that here, both to take, well, no. Again, it says we get to choose. And I don't particularly want to give them points, so we'll put it over this way. And we're just going to put 3 glass onto that. It just feels like me choosing is kind of cheating, right? But that's what the rules say. The rules say I get to choose. But like if it was an actual AI player, they'd be trying to get points. They'd be trying to screw me over, because if they put it off to the left, or no, they would lose a point if they put it off to the left. That's not me. They would lose a point. So I guess putting it to the right side would actually be smarter. Was there a thing under that? There was, but not for a factory. Well, I guess if they really wanted to, they would put it up here, because that would gain them 2 points. So we'll do it like that. So they gain 2 points. And they're working their way up to doing that. So that was roll number 1. Roll number 2 is a 5. Now they do have all these completed still. I need to replace this. They're going to end up taking this one right here. So this is all going to move down. And this will end up right here, snug with our tiles. And they're going to gain 3 to place down, so they're going to get 3 glass tiles to put on that 4 there. And their final roll is going to be another 3, which is going to allow them to complete that building up on top here by gaining 5 resources. They're going to gain a glass and 4 concrete. If I could get these together without spilling them all over the place, that would be great. However, that was not the case. So let me place this down, and then we're going to go try and find that. So they complete that, and they gain a victory point, and that is going to be the end of their turn for that round, which is going to bring us to turn number 13. They gain a point. Let me go find that piece that just fell. Ah, it's right there. Okay, let's see what we got to work with here. We have 10 meeples now, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 meeples. If we gain any more meeples, we're going to have to start choosing which ones we want to roll each turn. 1, 2, and everyone else is resting, so we get to roll. 1, a standing, that's good. Another standing. Another standing. So do I want to push this? I feel like that would be a bad idea. So we're just going to start by using our pink meeple to re-roll our resting ones without penalty. Okay, not too bad. I won't complain about that. So that's that. So we're going to start by getting 2 concrete. We get 3 steel. First time we've placed any blue ones down, I think. I don't think it's the first time we've gotten them, but I think it's the first time we've actually used them. We get 2 glass, and we gain 1 wood. And then we have a spending power of 2. Is there anything I want to buy? I could complete that one and get another steel. We do need steel in order to complete this tower here. So we're going to use our spending power of 2. That's a factory though, eh? I guess I could expand out into neighborhood 3. Or I could expand out into neighborhood 1. That's fine. That's fine. We're getting a lot more factories than I thought we were going to, but all is well. I do have a forest. I need some more stuff for this other victory point one for the complete sets. That would be useful probably, right? Gain 1 random target. I don't think I know what a target is. I'm going to have to look into that. Gain 1 random target. I haven't seen that one come up. I'm going to have to look into what a target is. Gain 1 oh, Oh, these guys are your targets, right? Yeah, so you get an extra target. So I guess you can score more than one. That's cool. That's cool. Two points per adjacent commercial building to a house, a completed house, which we're actually pretty good on right now. And it's not just ours, it's just per completed building. So we might actually want them to complete this building so that we get an extra 2 points from it. We're also going to get one, we're also going to get 2 if we complete this one here. So that would be nice. And we're going to gain 2 because we have a house up there as well. Then we're going to get quite a few points from that, actually. That's not too bad. Now, our spending power. What are we going to spend this on? It's only a 2, so we don't want to go crazy or anything. I think we're going to use it on this one here, which is going to put 2 wilds down on the bottom here. Because this is going to allow us to get another glass or steel, which could be helpful for us right now. Another glass would definitely be helpful right now. We're just going to place that up above right here, and then we can actually complete this by placing 1 purple and 2 glass. So that's going to give us 2 victory points, and we're going to take another glass meeple, which, since we're at 10, we're going to swap out a... You know what? We're going to swap out our extra victory point meeple for the time being, because we haven't even really been getting much from it, I don't think. We're going to try and get that glass one out so we can do some building. We're going to use these 3 and place them right here, so we need 2 more for that. And we've still got a purple and a brown. Do I have anything I can use these on? Everything's pretty well complete. So I think we're just going to be trading these 2 in for another glass, which we will put right here. And that's going to be the end of our turn. So we now get 3 rolls for the AI. A 1. They do not have a completed building in the 1. All they're going to get for that is 1 concrete, which is going to complete the building and gain them a victory point. Roll number 2. Another 1. Okay, well, they're going to gain these extra 2 points for being at the bottom here. And they're going to gain this, which is going to come up here. And it is only 3, so they're going to gain 2 steel and 1 concrete, which is going to complete that building. So that's going to be another point for them this turn. And their final roll is a 6, which they have completed buildings in. So they're going to get this one here is what they're going to end up with, which is going to put a wild onto the bottom 2 tiles. And this is, it has to go beside one of their other ones. Put it over here. It is going to be a deduction for them, but they are going to complete this and gain a point. Okay. See, I feel like I'm doing something wrong because they're so far behind. I know they gain points for the... I know they gain points for the special spaces on the board that give points, but I don't know if they gain points for the special abilities at the bottom of the tile. I feel like they do. It would make it make more sense, right? It would make it make more sense because they're just so far behind. They're so far behind. It makes me feel like I'm playing the game wrong, but to my knowledge, I'm not. Also, I don't even think they have any that have... if they did, this one would be the only one. Except it was the first one complete, so it would have been completed before this one even came out. So it wouldn't even have mattered. other than that, they don't have any that give points for adjacency or anything like that. I think they should be scoring the adjacency points is what I could be messing up. But in this particular game, they haven't gotten any. So I guess I'm not messing anything up. But let's just head into our turn. That was roll number 3. So they gained 3 points that turn. That's not too bad. We're heading into turn number 14. Okay, we got our magenta. And that's only 4, so we get to re-roll these guys. Okay, a re-roll's nice. Another glass. I'm not going to push these, so we're just going to start by using our sideways pink city planner in order to re-roll our resting meeples. See if we can get some more resources here. We got another steel. Can't complain about that. So we gain 2 glass. Two steel, 2 concrete. I believe it's concrete. Oh, I believe it's concrete anyway. 2 wood, and we have a spending power of 2, so I won't complain about that. Can I complete that building? I need 3 and 2 because it's a 5. So 2. I can... What's the best way to do this? 1, 2... I could take that factory. I have stuff I can attach it to now. Yeah, and get those wilds. Those would be helpful. Okay, I'm going to spend my 2 woods for an extra glass. So that's going to allow us to complete this commercial building right here, which is going to gain us 9 points as well as another magenta meeple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And another magenta meeple, which we are going to swap out. I think one of our wood meeples for. I think we're going to start trying to go for the other ones here. We're going to use our buying power of 2. And we're going to buy this commercial building here by spending another 1. Although I'm going to have a wasted tile then, aren't I? Oh no, I can place it up there. Okay, so I'm going to spend another 1 in order to get Fred's fedoras. We've purchased Fred's fedoras. And we're going to actually use this last one so that we can place it in this spot right here, which is going to gain us an extra 2 victory points. And that's going to be our turn because that's all our resources. Okay, we've put a wild on these since we bought from higher up. And we now move on to our opponents. With a 2. They have a building they still need to complete in the 2. So they're going to complete that. What do they need on there? 1, 2, 3. So they just gain 3... concrete, which is going to complete that building and gain them a point. Okay, next roll. We've got a 1. All their buildings in 1 are complete, so they're going to be gaining another 2 points from this bottom one here. And this is going to end up attached to one of their factories up there. They're not going to score any points, so let's put it off this way up here. And they're going to gain 3 of a resource. They're going to gain 3 glass here. Maybe I should be giving them steel. The glass is starting to run out. And one final roll. A 5. Do they have an unfinished 5? They do have an unfinished 5. So they're going to gain 12 resources for their unfinished property here, which 8 to... So they're going to get 8 and 4. So they're going to be 1 off of that back one there. So we're going to end up at 5 on the back and 7 on the front of that building. All steel. Oh, falling all over the place here. So we've got 5 in the back. We're going to have 7 in the front. It's going to be quite the tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They are 1 off from having that complete, because they'll get their last steel as well as 6 glass to complete the building. Okay, and that's it for their turn. We're moving on to turn number 15. Turn number 15 is where the game ended the last time I did solo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll see how it goes this time. 1, 2, only 3, eh? Okay, re-roll. Another 2. So we're at 5 now. I think we're going to try and push this. We're going to push our luck. 5's pretty good odds. And nice. We got quite a few here. So we got 1, 2, and 3. We're going to start our turn by re-rolling all of our resting meeple here. And nice, they gave us another spending power. So we have a total spending power of 4 for this turn, which is pretty nice. We are gaining 1 steel, 2 concrete, 2 glass, and 1 wood. That's all of our spending power of 4. So what do we got here? Is there anything we want to buy? Great question. Well, our steel, we could put on Fred's fedoras. Would help us build that up. That would be another 9 points for us. Wouldn't complain about that. We could use our spending power of 4. What do we got going on? 2, 2, 1, gain 2 per house within 3 spaces. And that wouldn't just be my houses. It would be any houses. If I put it there, we would get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We would get 3 houses. So that would be 6 points. If I were to put it there, that wouldn't be too bad. 6 points isn't terrible, but we would have to use 2 resources to place it. And I would be trying to avoid taking an additional hit from the factory, which is why I don't want to put it in the 1 space in neighborhood 2 there. I think that might be what we're going to do, because we can complete that, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to use our spending power of 4 in order to purchase this up here, the fairgrounds. So these are both going to get a thing on them. We're just going to replace the top. It's the first time I've ever gotten something from the top, I think. And we're going to spend 2 Oh, I thought it was 2 glass, 1 wood. That's okay. That's fine. We're going to spend 2 resources. We're going to spend our steel and our concrete in order to place it on this space right here. We aren't going to gain the 3 points for it, but that's okay. And then we are going to exchange a concrete and a glass for another wood. which is going to allow us to complete these fairgrounds, which is going to gain us 2 points per house within 3 spaces. And if I counted correctly, that is 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 3. So that is 6 points for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've now run the counter, so we just have to put a thing here to say we're over 50. So we're at 54 points right now. That's not terrible. And that's all of our resources. So that's the end of our turn. Let's see what our opponent does. A 6. They have all complete buildings on 6. So they're going to be taking the mayor's house. That's going to put an extra tile on both of these. That's going to end up here. They're going to gain 2 glass and a wood. So it is not complete yet, which is good for us. Roll again. Well, it's complete now. A 6 again. They're going to get that extra wood that they needed to complete that building, and that is going to be the end. No, not the end. That should be another point for them is what I meant to say. And then their last roll, a 2. Do they have anything in 2 they're trying to complete still? They do not. So they are on level 2. Oh god, they're gaining all these victory points. That's another 4 victory. Oh no, wait, it was a 2. They get the first one. So it's only 2 extra victory points. That's not terrible. Can't complain about that. 2 is better than 4. Granted, I don't particularly think they're going to catch up, but that's not really the point. These are mine. So they gained the radio tower, which is going to end up right here because it's the only space they can really place on right now. So that's another factory beside a bunch of my stuff, which is bad. That's going to lose me a bunch of points at the end of the game. And they're going to gain 3 resources for that, which is going to be 3 steel to go into the middle there. And that is the end of their turn. We have made it to turn 16. Okay, let's see what we end up with. We don't have a whole lot of resources left. I think we're getting pretty close to the end of the game here. Okay, 2 glass. 2, 3. So that guy was standing. So we're at 5. We're going to try and push. We're going to push our luck here. Oh, wow. Whoa. That was a good push. Good push. Good job, us. We're going to stick with that. So we gain 4 glass. We're going to gain 3 steel. We're going to gain 1 concrete. And then these other 2 are, we have a buying power 2, and we have a standing city planner. This is the first time we've had a standing city planner. A standing city planner allows us to take any one tile from the buying track and place it anywhere that we want. We do not have to follow restrictions, I believe, which means we're allowed to place it onto a space that you would normally need to use extra resources for. I believe that's how it works. So we're definitely going to be doing that on one of the spaces that are going to give us points for putting something on that space. Most likely the 7 over in the corner there. Question is, what do we want to put there? Something we can build up possibly before the end of the game. Maybe the water treatment, but that's a factory. We need a house. Geez, excuse me. We need a house, a forest, or a commercial building. Is there a commercial building I can easily build? 1, 2, 3. I also wouldn't mind trying to finish off Fred's fedoras here, but I don't think we have the resources for that this turn. If we got to next turn, we might be able to. But this turn, we do not. So I'm trying to see how we can maximize stuff here. Could do that. We could just try and play stuff to try and decrease our opponent's score. That's another option, right? Maybe we will do that, because I can complete that. So we're going to use our standing pink in order to take this one up here, the OG Auto, and we're going to place it right here, which is going to give us 1 point for putting it on a factory space, and it's going to take 1 point away from our opponent at the end of the game, which is nice. We're also just going to complete that right now. It's going to gain us 3 points as well as another pink meeple. So that is completed. We're going to gain 3 points. And we gain a pink meeple. Now the question is, do I want to put that into my bin or not? I could probably take the wood out. There's only 1 wood left, so. And I can still purchase something for a value of 2 if I wanted to. What do I have left? A bunch of glass and a steel? Is there anything that's all glass that I can do? I could do this. I have 4. So it just can't be more than 4 glass. That one's 2. Gain 4. No, it won't do anything for me. Any good 2s over here? 3 and 1. No, well, I could do that. Per adjacent house. 3. That one I can't do. I think we're just going to go for this one up here. No, we only have 2, sorry. Oh, I could do it, yeah. We're going to go for this one up here. No, that's not the right one. It was this one down here that we were going to go for. So it's on 3. So we get a spending power of 2. We're going to spend an extra 1 in order to purchase the Iron Grove Gardens here. Oh, our pieces are falling apart on us. That was one thing I had a problem with out of the box, is that all the pieces seem to be bent and they're not really staying together too well, which is a little annoying. What is going on here? Why isn't this staying properly? That was odd. Okay. Sorry, that was just it was just bothering me. It's still kind of bothering me. It doesn't look like it's lining up properly. So we're going to take the Iron Groves here. We're going to place this. Can I get it next to anything that isn't a factory right now? I can't. That's unfortunate. We're going to lose a point for placing this down, which kind of sucks. But I could also gain a point for placing it down, so it would at least counterbalance it, but I would lose a point from... I say. That's not useful. Okay, I guess we're going to place it over here. We aren't going to gain any points. We're going to lose a point from it, but that's such is life, I guess. I can't put it anywhere that would help me out. I can't. I cannot. Okay, it's fine. We're going to complete it. So it's just going to be a complete thing. It's not going to get us any points, but it is going to get us a clear purple meeple, which is going to allow us to activate powers, which this is the only one that has a power on it, I think, that we have. And if it is sideways, it'll allow us to gain 1 spending power. And if it's standing, it will allow us to double our steel manufacturing. So we're going to switch that out with one of our pinks here. I think that's the way to go. And we have 2 glass left, which we're just going to put onto Fred's fedoras, and that's going to be the end of our turn. I don't think we're going to get through... our opponent's turn here, so we'll see how it goes. A 3. All completed buildings in 3. It gives them the water treatment. which is going to get placed here because they're not going to want to get rid of their points. They're going to gain 2 steel and 1 concrete, which is going to complete it. So they're going to gain 1 point. Roll number 2 is a 6. Everything in 6 is completed. So they're going to gain Gray's Stadium. Wilds are going to be put on these 2 here. And we're in 6, so it's going to end up right here. And they're going to gain 3 steel to put onto that. And their final roll, a 1. They do need to complete the 1, but they are going to have to use up some of the wilds because the other ones aren't here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glass, and well, actually, you know what? I can do it on this other side here. So we got 3 to complete that side. We've got 1 steel, so that's 6. So they're going to gain 6 of these wilds to put on other stuff because they still have 6 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And seeing as we are now out of both steel and glass, the game has ended. If it had ended on my turn, then the AI would have gotten another go, but it ended on their turn, so I don't get an additional turn. So it took us 16 turns to get through this game. Not too bad. And we ended with a score of 58 points, where our opponents only had 14 points, which I think just came from buildings because they don't have any powers from them. Now, we can't forget, we do need to add up the communal goals as well as any additional victory points that we have. So we'll start with the communal goals. Lose 1 point per factory adjacent to a house, forest, or commercial building. I need to do this the easiest way I can. I'm going to start with mine. So let's see what we got here. Not me. That's a forest. That's a community. So that's 1 point gone. 3 points gone. That one's fine. 4 points gone. 5 points gone. 6 points gone. I've lost 6 points from having things beside factories. That's not terrible. That's not too bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm now down to 52. Our opponent has, those are fine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 points taken off from factories, it looks like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is score 4 points per neighborhood where you have the tallest completed building. I don't know if I have the tallest completed building in any neighborhood. Starting with neighborhood 1, it looks like we're actually tied, so we both get the 4 for that. Their one at the back is not completed, so we both have a highest building of 2. So we both get 4 points for that one. It's at each neighborhood, right? Neighborhood number 2, they definitely have the highest in neighborhood number 2, so that's 4 points for them. Neighborhood number 3, once again, is them. Neighborhood number 4 is me because they don't have theirs completed, which is good for us. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Neighborhood number 5. Oh, neighborhood's number 4 because they don't have any in it. Neighborhood number 5 is them. I believe that's a 4. And mine's only a 3. And neighborhood number 6 is them as well. The final community goal is 5 points per completed set of forest, house, factory, and commercial building. Let's do some counting. We're going to count factories for the yellow first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but it's only completed, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 factories. Let's go to commercial buildings next. We got 1, 2, just 2. Let's go to houses next. 1, 2, 3. And let's go to forests. We got 1, 2. So they have 2 complete sets. So that's a total of 10 points for them, which will put them up to 39. And let's see what we got. Starting with our factories like we did for them. We've got 1, 2, just 2 factories, eh? I'm surprised we had so few. Well, that doesn't bode well for us. Oh, 3. We have one up there as well. So 3 factories for us. Going on to houses. I'll start from the bottom here. We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, we have 2, which is all we have to count to because we only have 2 factories. Let's go to forests. We've got 2, and let's go commercial buildings. We've got 1. We've got 2. So we also have 2 complete ones, which is going to give us 10 points as well. So we're up to 70 points. That's everything for the communal goals. We now get to score our personal goal, which I think we're going with completed houses 2 times for each completed commercial building next to it. And so we have a completed one there with 1 commercial next to it. So that's 2. We have a completed one there with 2 commercials beside it. So that's another 4. So that's 6. That's not ours. We have a completed house down here with 1 commercial building completed beside it. So that's 8. And it looks like that's it for houses for us. So it looks like that's it. So we get an additional 8 points from our target. And last but not least, we count up our remaining wild points here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an additional 5 points for us, getting us to a total of 83 points. And our opponent has a bunch of wilds here. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points from these wilds. That's pretty crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The yellow houses are done. So let's just put a yellow meeple here to say that yellow went by. So that's it. That is Rolling Heights. We ended the game with 83 points. The AI ended the game with 52 points. They definitely gained a lot of points from those extra victory points there. I'm thinking maybe next time we'll try it with the harder rules where you start rolling 3 dice for the AI at round 10, because just feel like they're so far behind. I feel like I'm missing something. But even if they were supposed to gain additional, geez, excuse me, something in my throat here. Even if they were supposed to gain additional points from any bonus effects from their cards, they just didn't have any on the cards they ended up with. So there wasn't much we could do about it. Maybe that's why they ended up so far behind. Who knows? Maybe I am doing something wrong. But that is everything for this game of Rolling Heights. So thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have already played Rolling Heights, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. If watching this has made you want to try it out for yourself, let me know that down below as well. It's always interesting to see what kind of games people end up taking a look at based on what we take a look at the channel here. And that is pretty much it. If you guys are over on Instagram, you can follow us at the Board Games Are For Everybody Instagram page, where we post photos of games that we're playing, as well as games that we pick up outside of the pickup videos here on YouTube. And that is about it. So thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I will see you all next time. But until then, just remember the board games are for everybody. And until then, peace.